Good afternoon, everyone. I'm finally back with a new video. Today we're going to be talking about, I'm going to be talking about the ranking of the 2023 iteration of the XFL owned by Dwayne Johnson and his ex-wife, now current business partner. I do want to say before I get into this that overall, I'm just like incredibly disappointed with how with the downgrade of these logos, the downgrade of the league's logo, and the overall just like lead up to this league's 2023 season. Because as of right now, we barely have team names and logos. When the 2020 XFL happened, we had already had a logo, team logos, and names revealed, team uniforms revealed, the draft obviously, and training camp was starting, and now we don't even have a draft nowhere. I don't even think in the works as of right now, which is very unfortunate because I'm a huge football fan, and this is I've seen so much better preparation even from the USFL at this point, which is why I'm disappointed. But aside from that, let's just get right into these logos, since we at the very least do have these logos to look at. So obviously the tiers are here, S, A, B, C, D, from best to worst. So speaking of D, the DC Defenders have to go in D tier because this is such a massive downgrade from their previous 2020 logo, which was a red shield with white outline and white crisscross thunderbolts within the shield. It just seemed like a very like military-like logo because, you know, DC is our nation's capital, so very militant / governmental looking logo. I very much enjoyed it. It wasn't like perfect, but it was much better than this. So speaking of awful logos and huge downgrades, Arlington Renegades also have to be put in this list because their current secondary logo was 2020's primary logo, and it was like honestly one of like the best cowboy outline like logos I think I've ever seen. Like the beaming red eyes, the mystique of the black shadowing within the logo, along with the light blue coloring that was within that logo. It's still honestly one of the best non-NFL logos honestly I've ever seen. And for us to have basically like an incomplete R for a letter logo as the new primary logo, just absolutely one of the worst lettering logos I've ever seen. With some exceptions, I really cannot stand lettering logos. I just feel like they're way too simplistic. The league's design teams or whatever can come up with something just so much better than these. Really, and that's with any team. With a few exceptions, I'm a Niners fan, but even though even in that case, that logo's been around for probably over 50 years, over 50, 60 years. So people have just gotten used to it. And also the color scheme that goes with that logo is top notch. So that's why there's an exception there. Anyway, going on to C tier, we got the Seattle Sea Dragons. The color scheme and the dragon breathing fire is still the same. That is good. That's the only good thing about it. That, and I can appreciate the fact they were trying to do something unique by making the dragons body shape turn into an S. That's cool, but at the same time, still a big downgrade from the 2020 logo. And because the dragon looked buffer, it looked more intimidating, it looked like more menacing, and now this just looks like a plushie toy basically. And for them to add the word sea to make it Sea Dragons as opposed to just Dragons from 2020, very unnecessary. Just because the word is the city is Seattle doesn't mean you have to have C as your at the beginning of every team name. I mean, you got Seattle Seahawks, and now you got Seattle Sea Dragons. Dragons was fine enough. You did not have to revamp them as the Sea Dragons. Next is the Vegas Vipers. This was the only team from 2020 to 2023 that actually had an improvement in their logo, because where the red is now, there used to be dark green, and then where the black is now on the inside, there used to be light yellow, which is not, and they were plastered on top of light green helmets during game time, which honestly just did not look very good at all. It looks really awful. In fact, in my opinion, it was the worst logo of the entire 2020 league. Now that they're in Vegas, I do appreciate the fact that since Vegas is basically used for like known for Sin City and whatever stays in Vegas, sorry, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and especially gambling, mainly with cards and all that stuff. I do appreciate that they were their colors are taken after the colors of different card suits. I mean, you got your reds, which is hearts and diamonds on the outside, and then you got your blacks, which is clubs and spades on the inside. So I did like that Vegas tie-in right there. Also, Vegas just seems like a much more realistic place to have not essentially vipers. I would have been okay if they said they were revamped to the Vegas rattlesnakes, because rattlesnakes are more in Vegas in the desert rather than vipers, which is basically within like the swamps and Everglades of Florida, which is why the Vipers name in Tampa actually made sense, but the color scheme was awful. Anyway, going on to B tier, we got Orlando Guardians. Now this was the brand stays the same, but the location was different from. Okay, next up is the Orlando Guardians in B tier. So this was one of the teams that kept the brand name but relocated. It went from New York from 2020 to Orlando in 2023. And I like both logos themselves from each iteration of the league. I do prefer the 2020 logo because that was black, gray, and red eyes. This one is basically just like dark gray, lighter gray, with a green outline and green eyes. Now, the thing about the Guardians is the 2020 looked more like a lion or like a mountain lion or a puma. This one looks more like a bear or like a bear cat. And the thing with Orlando is when you think of Orlando or any part of Florida, you do not think bears at all, which is why I think that this just bears or bearcats or guardians, whatever the heck you want to call it, just feels very out of place for Orlando. But at the same time, it is a good logo. I do wish that they could have kept the 2020 logo, but it is what it is. So what else was going to go in the B tier has to be the Houston Roughnecks logo. I don't know why, but this is actually the 2020 logo put on tiermaker.com here. Let me show you what the 2023 logo is. I do understand why they had to redo this logo, because in 2021, their 2020 version of the logo, which is these two right here, they were sued by the NFL for basically taking inspiration from the Houston Oilers from like the 80s and 90s, all that stuff. And yeah, basically said that they could not use that logo. So for them trying to basically create their 2020 logo as best of their ability with keeping like, as close to the previous design as possible without having to endure another lawsuit from any other league, I think they did a pretty good job. At the same time, you just can't do better than this logo. When I first saw this, it just looks like a bunch of building blocks or like Legos created by a kid. But at least the star is there, the overall H is there. I mean, you could tell that they tried their best. So for that, I'm willing to give them a little bit of leeway, and they are in B tier because of it. Going on to A tier, this is like the most original, like a brand new location, a brand new team name, a brand new team logo. Just everything was original. San Antonio Brahmas. I do like the Brahmas, which is like a rock tie-in from his wrestling name. The Brahma, one of his many nicknames was the Brahma Bull. But I do wish they could have like done something like with his actual Brahma Bull logo. So this is the overall like Brahma Bull logo. A little bit basic, yeah, I know, but they could have like taken some inspiration, put more detail into it, and they could have like made something like this or something. Like, of course, add more color, but I would have been so much more satisfied if they maybe did something like this, or maybe like did like a something slightly based off the Texas Longhorns logo instead of just having to make something like this. I do like the overall like the outlining of it is good, and like the overall and like the sharp horns are very intimidating. But the color scheme, the yellow, just turns it off for me. It really does. I would have been much more uh, satisfied if they had kept maybe just like, black and gray. If they would have given it like a Raiders color scheme, that would have been absolutely perfect. Or if not Raiders, and like a mixture between like maybe like a slight gray or like purely white in the center. That would have been, it might have been a little bit basic, but it still would have been just much more eye-appealing, to me at least, than a yellow, because this just looks out of place. It really does. But overall, I do like the fact as well, I will say, that it kind of gives you like that old Western vibe when they have like one of those overall scene shots, overview shots of like the entire desert. They zoom in on like on those bull or cow skull stick halfway sticking out of the desert sand from those old Westerns. I do like that a lot. So that way, for giving me a good callback and the overall just uniqueness of the logo, I'm going to put it in A tier. And last but not least, of course, you have to put, no, why is it in B tier? Okay, hold on. Okay, there we go. St. Louis Battlehawks obviously have to be in S tier. There is a slight alteration from 2020 to 2023, but this was like the one logo where they absolutely just, for the most part, like the general formation is definitely just the same. The location is right. The name, which is like the selling point, really was fantastic, and the logo absolutely beautiful. The white and silver minor shades coupled with the blue is just absolutely unique, great, fantastic, whatever your words you want to say that will put this logo in high praise. It just fits. It really does fit. St. Louis wanted this football team, or not just any football team. They wanted this football team. And the fact that the XFL were able to, they chose to listen to the most loyal fan base, because even though football is great in Texas, St. Louis, more than anyone else, from 2020, 2023, was the biggest and the best sports fan base that the league could have ever asked for. And the fact that that the XFL rewarded them by just keeping everything the way it was, as if nothing had changed, is absolutely perfection. So for that, XFL, St. Louis Battlehawks, best logo, hands down. And that pretty much wraps up for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys think that I made the right tier list, please let me know, leave a like. If you guys think that there's something that should have been maybe altered, whether minor or major, please let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion, because we're all entitled to our own opinions. Just make sure that it's respectful, of course. And hopefully this league will succeed when it starts in 2023. And I just hope that the quality is good, because many men are getting their opportunities on a football field finally. And who knows, maybe it could be even better than the NFL or USFL, who knows. But that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And hopefully I'll come back with a new video in the near future. Thanks. Bye.